The absolute canon is obviously the original Dragon Ball manga. But since a lot of people would rather watch something than read something, there's companies out here that will have to animate what's in the manga into like a video animation format. Or it could be people just want to watch it in color and not black and white. The character I want to go over today, Dragon Ball GT Vegeta, is often dubbed the anime Vegeta because he's the anime interpretation of all the events that happened up here. But then down here, there's like extra stuff that the anime might add in filler. All of this is one continuity for him. All these extra feats should apply to this Vegeta. Of course, minus the Dragon Ball Super stuff when he becomes like a literal deity and Super Saiyan Blue and all that stuff. Yeah, so no Ultra Ego and stuff. But we do get to analyze Vegeta and he has Super Saiyan 4, so that's cool. Probably the most easiest example to prove that GT Vegeta went through similar stuff as the main continuity Vegeta is how there's certain events in GT that are referenced again. Because you remember when the Vegeta killed Nappa in the main continuity, of course, in both continuities, anime or manga continuity. In Dragon Ball GT, let's just say they met again, but Vegeta's way stronger than he was back in those days. And Vegeta kind of blasted him away again. References like that prove that these Vegetas pretty much went through the same events, but with extra stuff. It's almost like anything the manga Vegeta can do, but this one can do better, minus Dragon Ball Super events. Let's start deep diving in Vegeta real quick. I mean, he's a warrior. He believes in fighting. I mean, imagine being raised on a planet that has 10 times the gravity of Earth. Like literally everything you do on this planet is 10 times harder compared to where if you was on Earth. Part of the reason why Vegeta's strong is because of his straight up physiology. Like you see the tail on his back, it's the Saiyan tail that allows them to transform under a full moon. And if there's no full moon, he can make his own artificial full moon so he can transform into a giant great ape, where all the stuff he could previously do is multiplied times 10. This Saiyan tail is also the reason why he's going to get his ultimate mode, which I'm going to get back to later on in this video. When you're a key manipulator like them, you can sense powerful ki or chi, like Vegeta talks about here. In Dragon Ball, key control is everything. Vegeta is a high tier key controller type being. He's been doing it for years. Ki and your physical body seem to be one and the same. A lot of characters get stronger, quote unquote, by working out with physical weights. That's why you're going to see a lot of different type of energy blasts in this video, whether he's just spamming energy or more concentrated energy blast. So right off gate, without even analyzing overly hard, we can kind of get an idea of his strength. If he's officially 123 pounds, right? Yeah, he's short. That's why he's so light. We got to multiply what his weight would be on his own planet, which would be a multiplier times 10. That means, hypothetically speaking, he should off gate be able to move around with ease, being 1,200 pounds. He's constantly moving around on planet Vegeta with no issues. We literally see him training 450 times normal gravity in later arcs. Of course, when he's getting strong over time.
At 450 times normal gravity.
If you do the math, 123 pounds multiplied by 450, that's approximately, like he's literally training, carrying around 27 tons. So when you see him doing finger push-ups with one arm, he's kind of lifting 27 tons. For reps, this is not your max. If you're a weightlifter, you know when people work out, nobody lifts weights with their max. Obviously, this is nowhere near his max. He's doing this for probably hundreds of thousands of reps and such. You can get an idea of his strength with that. With both arms, he'd probably be able to lift 50 plus tons. You see what I mean? Stuff like this would imply, if he had to, he could lift up tanks. There's implications Vegeta can lift more. We've seen him lock arms with Goku. In this particular situation, he was getting overpowered, but we've actually seen him lock arms muscle with Goku in later arcs, stronger forms. Like this, for example, you can clearly see their muscles are entangled with one another. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but Vegeta's power level was way higher than everybody here. And even back in the earlier days when it comes to Goku lifting heavy stuff, even in his weaker muscle days, he could still lift a giant Piccolo like this that has to weigh over hundreds of tons. What do you think Vegeta can lift in later arcs? This is like teenage Goku doing this. So what do you think he's doing when he's fighting a stronger Goku? You see, I look at it like if Goku can lift 100 tons, so can Vegeta. I mean, then there's the matter of this. How much do you think he can lift like this? He's literally hundreds of tons this size. If you say he can't lift hundreds of tons or even thousands of tons like this, you crazy. He's literally this heavy. There's no way you don't believe Great Ape Vegeta can't lift his own weight. There's no way you don't believe that. He can definitely lift his own weight as a Great Ape, and he's large and heavy, and he can still move around at this size. And then if we assume he's not even on Earth, let's assume he's on planet Vegeta. If you agreed he weighed 100 tons on Earth, he would be 1,000 tons on planet Vegeta. Unless you're one of those people that think as they go in Great Ape form on planet Vegeta, they would suddenly not be able to move around. I know you don't believe that either. Yeah, guys, in his Great Ape form on planet Vegeta, he can lift 1,000 tons. It's 10 times gravity. He could still lift a lot of weight as a Great Ape on his planet. Weaker Saiyans that transform into their Great Ape form lift this kind of weight. Like we seen Gohan lift ginormous boulders while he's in his Great Ape form. Vegeta not being able to do this would be ridiculous in his Great Ape form. This is during the early Saga days too. He more than likely can lift way more than 1,000 tons. Just like how Goku in his Super Saiyan 4 state can push buildings back in place. I would say Vegeta should be able to do the same kind of feat like this. I mean, we see him locking arms with Goku here. And later on in his career, Goku could push mountains apart, it seems. Yeah, if we start adding in Super Saiyan forms, they can lift probably mountains and stuff. And this big chunk of a city that was falling, you guys do the math. All this rock, you know this got to be over millions and billions of tons. I don't see no reason why Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta couldn't do this too with his muscle, just lifting a crazy amount of weight. You know, I ain't tripping. Yeah, but I ain't getting into that yet. That's getting into the millions and billions of tons range and stuff when we start adding in that kind of stuff in later sagas and stuff. Vegeta can take a lot of abuse without relying on the Super Saiyan transformation. His normal self is already enough. You probably think they only can hit hard because of energy blast. Well, that is true, but even without necessarily relying on just energy blast, Ki in general is something that makes the weight of their punches heavy, because remember how I said earlier, Ki and their physical body kind of go hand in hand? There's plenty of evidence throughout the series of characters amplifying their fists with energy. I mean, we call it Ki. It's literally everything. Every character does this. Vegeta also done this, but this is Dragon Ball Super. I'm just showing you that he did this in Dragon Ball Super stuff, and he just happens to be one of those people that done it in the main continuity. Like, you can literally see Vegeta put energy around his fist to punch. Notice how they animated it looking kind of purplish. You know what I mean? Even though I would give their blast power the advantage over their strikes can put out damage like this too, because of Ki. How much are we talking? Well, starting off this video with a bang, Vegeta literally made an amazing statement saying he surpassed his father as a kid. Keep in mind, his dad has so much blast power. Look at these planets just get wiped out, and you're telling me he surpassed this guy as a kid? Imagine a little kid having this kind of blast power. There's people with ridiculously low power levels in Dragon Ball compared to Vegeta that still have the blast power to blow away planetoid type structures like the moon. And Piccolo during this point in time could blast away planetoids like the moon. He's a weaker power level during this moment in time than Vegeta. So when you see Vegeta do stuff like this, when this is not even a super concentrated energy blast, we see him produce the kind of blast to mess up the entire planet and the moon it's nearby and wipe them both out. So we're still young in the video, and he's already mighty enough to blow up multiple planets with his blast power. So when you hear Vegeta say statements like, I'm going to blow the earth into bits or just destroy it, he's telling the truth. Even though we didn't see him actually blow up the earth here, he was going to actually do it. I mean, during this time period, he can easily destroy the earth several times over, and that's not even counting his Great Ape transformation during this time period when he had the Saiyan tail, which would multiply his power by 10. He's already leagues upon leagues above earth shattering, and he can transform like this during this time period. I mean, in Dragon Ball lore, they talk about how power levels low as 10,000 can destroy a planet. What can a power level of 1,000,000 do? You see what I mean? And Vegeta in his career has fought beings that have a higher power level than this, and even to the point where he surpassed them without even needing this. I mean, with his Great Ape form, he would surpass them, but like without even counting this, because he got his tail cut off. We've seen Vegeta mess up Dodoria, and he punched away Zarbon. Keep in mind, this is him without his tail at this point in time. I feel like this has to be said, again, for some of you people to understand this. I agree their Ki blasts are probably more potent than their Ki punches, but at the same time, their punches can still deflect these energy attacks that are planet busting and stuff or above. Vegeta literally punched a Ki blast here, for example. Dragon Ball characters are not a Cyclops situation where you know how characters like Cyclops can blast and destroy a planet, but that doesn't necessarily mean Cyclops' punches can do the same. Like, a lot of people try to use this logic for the Dragon Ball Z characters. It just doesn't work. Like, yeah, Cyclops can't punch with this level of force, but he can blast with this level of force. Dragon Ball Z characters, Vegeta included, can blast with this kind of force and strike with this kind of force. We've seen them punch this kind of stuff away consistently. Even when they're super concentrated energy blasts, we've seen characters like Vegeta smack this kind of stuff away. So don't you dare say they can't hit as hard as they can blast. Just think of his punches being more focused in a small composed area rather than a big area of effect, wide type of blast. But it can still hit with this kind of scary type of potent force or blunt concussive force. It may have took a while, but yeah, Vegeta did eventually get this form Goku guy, and Goku did eventually get more blast power than is being known as Frieza at his best. See, this is where the power levels kind of start getting crazy. Believe it or not, Vegeta's power level gets to the point where it actually surpasses 1,000,000, by the way, in later arcs. You know how Goku became Super Saiyan, defeated Frieza. Goku overpowered his mightiest state. And believe it or not, there was a point where Vegeta surpassed Goku even as a Super Saiyan. It was like there was a moment in his career where he did this, which in turn would make him stronger than Frieza at this point in time. You guys know of the famous feat of Frieza in his first form, weakest state, blowing away Planet Vegeta, right? And of course, you guys remember how much his power level increased in his final form, right? And Vegeta apparently surpassed this. This is technically a Frieza holding back because he's not even using his bulky muscle form when he apparently destroyed
Namek here, you probably think, oh, it's just a planet bust defeat. That's not that impressive. Well, no, it's more than that. Frieza apparently not only destroyed Namek, but also apparently a whole bunch of stars. This is what I was talking about earlier on how it's the same stuff that happened in the manga, but the animation kind of made it even crazier with the on-screen display. Like, look at the galaxy, and you can apparently see it across the galaxy. If you guys have any idea how big a galaxy is, destroying one planet in the galaxy shouldn't be this visible this far away. So it kind of adds up with multiple planets or multiple solar systems, wide explosion, multiple stars being blown up. And look at Frieza when he did this. He wasn't even in his bulky form, 100% form. I mean, Frieza even said he held back.
I held back too much power.
He's literally in a smaller form here when he did this. If we assume Vegeta years later surpassed this same Frieza during this time period, Vegeta in his Super Saiyan mode should be able to technically do similar. I don't think you guys realize how crazy this is. We're talking about Namek Saga level characters being able to blow up multiple suns. And look how small the Earth is compared to one sun. Stuff like this is implying that suns that are way larger than one Earth, we're talking about beings being able to produce so much crazy blast power they can wipe out literally multiple suns, 2 stars, 3, 4, 5 stars, a whole solar system. Based on him being stronger than Frieza in that time period, he should be able to do solar system wiping power, blast power. We're talking about blast so wide that it gets so big to where it encompasses the solar system, and then the blast leaves our solar system, but the blast is so powerful that it keeps wiping out planets that are far away from our solar system. Like, what? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Wiping out multiple stars within the vicinity. What if I told you Frieza, in this state, made an energy blast that was 10 times the one that he used on Namek? So imagine an explosion this crazy multiplied by 10. It's really hard to measure it, but like, yeah, a decent chunk of the galaxy or some big portion. Yeah, several solar systems. Yeah. And Vegeta's son from the future can catch stuff like this with laughable ease and they're not even trying. Considering the distance between each solar system, the thought of one blast reaching more than one solar system, destroying more than one star, reaching light years sounds crazy. That's what Frieza's blast did, and this Vegeta should be able to do similar or more because he's above him at this point. Frieza was a diabolical being that threatened to destroy the whole universe eventually. So yeah, this guy was known for his destructive ability. Think about all this power he technically would have, and then he has to fight stronger opponents like Android 18, who can hit a lot harder than any previous opponent. But let me tell you how strong Vegeta has gotten. These androids are pretty strong. Like, these androids during this time period were stronger than Super Saiyans, like your standard Super Saiyans. Whether we're talking about 17 or 18, the boy or girl, each of these androids were just too much. There's this super android known as Cell that absorbed Android 17, right? Got his power and transformed into this form. 2 beings that are stronger than Super Saiyan put together. You're probably thinking, oh man, Vegeta's screwed now. Vegeta has gotten so strong that 2 beings that are fused together that are stronger than the standard Super Saiyan can't hit hard enough to really phase Vegeta, but instead Vegeta bullies him. This is how this Cell treats Android 18. Vegeta used to be done like this by the same android. Now Vegeta's bullying the same one. Okay, so this being Cell ended up absorbing both androids, ends up getting his ultimate mode, ends up blowing himself up, basically because he was frustrated that he lost one of the androids. But doing so, he ended up getting this Zenkai boost that Saiyans have, where they get near death, they come back stronger than ever. I didn't really go over it that much in this video, but yeah, that's part of the reason why Vegeta's gotten so strong through these different arcs. Cell has this because he has all their genetics. Cell ends up getting so powerful thanks to the Zenkai, he gets his perfect form, and he even says he has so much chi, he could blow away the entire solar system now. I mean, based on all the stuff I've kind of showed you in this video already, do you really doubt this statement? This is probably an oversimplification. You're probably thinking, so what? This doesn't have nothing to do with Vegeta. Vegeta got messed up by Cell when he was in his perfect form. Well, here's the thing. 7 years later, guess what? Just in case you forgot, Vegeta has never stopped training. He does end up surpassing Cell, by the way. He gets a new form, Super Saiyan 2. He got Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2.
At least you're stronger than your son was against Cell.
Wow, Vegeta, this might take longer than I thought.
Do some critical thinking right quick, guys. The guy that stated he can destroy the entire solar system got his blast overpowered by Gohan. And that statement I literally just showed you stated, at least you're stronger than your son was against Cell. Then Goku says, oh, this might take longer than I thought, even though he's that strong, but implying Vegeta's also on that tier of power, higher than Cell, higher than a guy that can blow away the solar system. That stuff shouldn't even be a question at this point in the video, the way the animations make their explosions or blasts look. So yeah. You remember how Piccolo fused with his other half, Kami? And during the Android Saga, he actually technically surpassed a base mode-ish Super Saiyan for a little while. Just for a little while, of course. Okay, this statement is kind of crazy. You remember there was like this tournament about to happen? This was years after the Cell Saga. The Z Fighters made an agreement that they wasn't going to go into Super Saiyan forms in this tournament. Vegeta said it doesn't matter. He is still the strongest. in his base form, that's saying a lot considering Piccolo's here, guys. Somebody who back in the day had surpassed the Super Saiyan Vegeta back in the previous arc in the early part of the saga. You're telling me Vegeta has gotten so strong after the 7 years that even though Piccolo has been training 7 years too, I mean, I don't know what kind of training Vegeta would have did compared to Piccolo's. His training must have been a lot better or something, or it could be his physiology. He's stronger than Piccolo in his base? That's an astronomical power increase. And then he can multiply his power 100-fold. Do you think Vegeta was being cocky, or do you think after the 7 years, his training was so much better than Piccolo's that to where his base form is stronger than Piccolo at this point in time? This kind of power increase would imply in his base form, he would be able to blast away solar systems in his base state. Considering how strong Piccolo has gotten, being stronger than Frieza, somebody that can blow away solar systems. Oh man, his base form in this time period could wipe out a whole bunch of stars or multiple solar systems, similar to what previous arc Frieza in his final form could do. Oh man, based on the fact of how strong Goku got before the 7-year time skip. See, here's the thing, Goku was implied in his base state to be stronger than Piccolo too, because after he died against Cell, there was this strong fighter known as Pikkon who one-shotted Cell, a Super Saiyan 2 being that can blow away solar systems, leagues above beings that can blow away multiple solar systems, and Goku boxed it out with this being with his suppressed state. Pikkon can overpower Super Saiyan 2 level beings, but he can't overpower easily Goku in his base state. This is before the 7-year training. You see what I mean? How strong do you think Vegeta is later on when Vegeta was pretty evenly matched with Goku in his Super Saiyan 2 states? You see what I mean? Keep in mind, this is what happens when Pikkon fights Majin Buu, the stronger villain of the saga. They just get curb stomped. Don't get it twisted. Vegeta is no match for Kid Buu either during this period in time. But Kid Buu hit him with a lot of blows. Vegeta was so resilient that even Kid Buu was shocked.
His single desire was to eliminate all living things. Hundreds of planets were reduced to rubble. With Majin Buu under his control, Bibidi set about the systematic destruction of all life in the universe. No force could withstand his evil power. Entire galaxies were erased from existence.
Okay, it gets a little tricky trying to compare Vegeta to Buu. Like, I'm not trying to say he's as strong as Kid Buu, but at the same time, Vegeta didn't get one-shotted, even though Kid Buu was probably toying with him. So it's kind of weird to kind of really get an understanding of his power like this. But over time, he can actually destroy an entire galaxy. Majin Buu can. I wouldn't be surprised if both Kid Buu and Vegeta at this point in the series, as strong as he's gotten, I wouldn't be surprised if they could blow up a galaxy with one blast. Especially as a Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta. You know what I mean? See, here's the thing. There's multiple universe-sized structures in Dragon Ball. Like, it's a literal macrocosm, for example. And when we're talking about Kid Buu, heaven, believe it or not, heaven up here is apparently as wide as the universe. Yeah, you see the universe is down here, but yeah, this is heaven. So you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I'm not saying you should use this image as an accurate representation of the size of the planets in heaven. If all of this is heaven and these planets are this big compared to heaven, that's like, that would almost be like saying these planets are like galaxy sized almost. You know what I mean? Like, hold on. Lowballing it if we want to assume the universe is not infinite, but apparently, this planet takes up a decent chunk of heaven, one could say. I mean, heaven is apparently comparable to the universe, which is technically infinite, but even when we say observable universe, like a Grand Kai planet being super large compared to what? Observable universe size, that would still be multiple galaxy sized planets or something, or yeah, it just gets kind of wonky to really get an exact pinpoint of how big the planet is. He was apparently going to blow up this huge world. I guess if we assume, this is a rough guesstimation, if we assume that Goku is a Super Saiyan 3 level being, and if we assume that Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta is 4 times weaker because of the multiplier, yeah, we know Vegeta is similar to Buu Saga Super Saiyan 2 tiers. So if we don't want to assume he's as strong as Kid Buu, who's a Super Saiyan 3 tier, I guess we can kind of divide Vegeta's strength divided by 4. So if Kid Buu can blow up like, 10 galaxies based on the size of that planet or something, we can divide it by 4, and that would still be a couple galaxies. Yeah, as a Super Saiyan 2. If we take these numbers right here, seriously, this multiplier, these Dragon Ball characters just get dozens and dozens of power-ups. Like, I know galaxies are far away from each other, but if that place is really the size of the universe and a planet is like a big chunk of that universe-sized structure, that would have to be a galaxy-sized planet. Or based on the way this map looks, they make these planets look like big chunks of the universe. I guess everybody that dies has to fit on these planets. Everybody in the universe has to be able to fit. So these planets have to be abnormally large compared to the universe planets. You know what I mean? And after all these power-ups, him talking about he could beat Piccolo in his base state in the Buu Saga, his Buu Saga self being ridiculously strong, one of his blasts being big enough to encompass a galaxy, then reaching to the next one, I definitely think that's definitely in the realm of possibility based on all this stuff with the Grand Kai's planet and the Macrocosm and such. Him being a Super Saiyan 2 tier, weaker than Kid Buu, but maybe not 100,000 times weaker than Kid Buu, if that makes sense.
Maybe like 1/10 Kid Buu, 1/4 Kid Buu strength, very up in the air. Not to mention, there's other statements about other planets in this place being in jeopardy. They was threatening this place. This is the Vegeta, but yeah, like these super large planets in this universe are threatened to be messed up in their fight with Kid Buu, somebody that Vegeta kind of had to scuffle with too, you know. Yeah. When you see these characters fight, they do some decent damage to like this is Goku and Kid Buu, of course, not Vegeta, but you should apply for Super Saiyan 2. This apparent astronomically large planet being caved in like this. I mean, how the heck did he survive against this guy in his base form? You know his base form gotta be pretty decent. You guys already saw how strong he became in that last saga, and then another 10 years passed. We didn't see what kind of training, but we can just imagine Vegeta's gotten a lot stronger again. Yeah, Vegeta doesn't age that much because of his physiology. Vegeta even talks about how they don't age the same. I got a question to ask you. We know Vegeta never got this mode. Do you think, even without Super Saiyan 3, because, you know, his base has gotten so much stronger throughout the years off screen, do you think End of the Z Vegeta in his Super Saiyan 2 state can take on 10 years ago Majin Buu, the same one that could fight a Super Saiyan 3 in the previous arc? Not End of Z Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but like a previous arc. You see what I mean? Like, do you think his base has gotten so strong to where his Super Saiyan 2 can take on a Kid Buu in the previous arc? You see what I mean? I would say yes. And you remember that earlier stuff about Kid Buu being able to destroy these humongous planets that are probably the size of multiple galaxies? If you're one of those people that agree that a current End of the Z Vegeta Super Saiyan 2 could take on a previous arc Kid Buu, which was 10 years ago, you would technically believe Vegeta in his Super Saiyan 2 states can blast apart galaxy-sized planets or something. You know, if you're one of those believers. I mean, we did see Goku in his base state fight a reincarnated Kid Buu in his base state. Goku decides to train with this reincarnated Buu. They fly off together, and guess what? Another time skip. Look at Vegeta wanting to fight again. This could be like a gag, but Vegeta goes through an appearance. You can tell it was a time skip, like literally a mustache. A good way to understand Vegeta in GT is Goku's power during this time period, because in order to fuse, you have to have the exact same key levels. And in GT, as you all know, they had a successful fusion in Super Saiyan 4, becoming Gogeta, because, you know, they got their Saiyan tails back. And if this isn't enough evidence for you, because you could probably say, well, Goku just lowered his power level to fuse successfully in Super Saiyan 4, because you can technically lower your power level a little bit if their power levels aren't exactly equal. So even if you don't want to use this, so there was a being baby that was going around taking people's bodies. And there's heavy implications that Vegeta is one of the mightiest beings, because when this same being would possess like Gohan and Goten and stuff, Goku, even in his base form, when Super Saiyans pull up, blast him, he can still deflect their attacks. So when these Super Saiyans got possessed by Baby, even in their Super Saiyan forms, Goku could do this. There was clear indications Baby wanted Vegeta's body because it was a higher end body compared to these other Saiyans.
The time has come to steal your body, Vegeta.
Baby does amplify beings when they possess people's bodies, but for some reason, Vegeta's was just on another level. Why do you think when Baby got in his body like this, and ended up getting his own Super Saiyan 4 tier form, these fights were a lot tougher? Body being strong contributed to this. If you guys know how Dragon Ball Z works, multipliers, like just because they have the same form doesn't mean they're equal automatically. The fact that Goku and Vegeta are very close to each other in this power level shows that their base states have to be somewhere in each other's ballpark, or their Super Saiyan 4s wouldn't even be equal based on multipliers and stuff. I mean, we technically seen GT Goku in his base state without even needing no transformations, which Vegeta should be able to do too, because if their bases are equal or similar, he's got the blast power to do this to the dimension.
He's got enough power in that little body to light up an entire galaxy. Goku, if we break through this dimension...
With power like that, he'll blow this place to smithereens. And he's not even fighting.
I mean, even Goku himself agrees that when Baby's inside certain beings, he's scarier. Like in Vegeta, it lets you know how powerful he is when Goku says stuff like this.
What incredible power! Inside Vegeta, he's ferocious!
Some people are still skeptical on whether we should count the 4,000 times base multiplier for the Super Saiyan 4. I think it's valid, considering that Goku in his base state was able to shake stuff. He was able to go from down here and shake stuff way up here. Infinite size structures, universal size structures in his base state. They was feeling it from hell. This same stuff should have technically applied for Vegeta's base state. GT Vegeta, even if we lowball him and say he can't shake multiple realms, he should be able to shake the realm of hell, which is a universe size structure there, just in his base state. Without even counting Super Saiyan 4, if we just talk about Super Saiyan 2, if we add a multiplier of over 100 times, it would definitely make sense for him to be able to shake multiple universe-sized structures, given the multiplier of over 100 if his base self can do this, based on Goku and stuff. Plus, we know Vegeta never stops training.
Especially when there's a real threat standing right here.
It's been a while since we did this. but do you mind if we continue this after I get something to eat?
I mean, if we just be lenient and assume the multiplier really is 4,000, if his base self can do what Goku can do, and his blast will be multiplied by 4,000, if we talk about the Super Saiyan 4 multiplier, yeah, definitely universe-sized structures he could blast away, especially with that crazy multiplier of 4,000. Do you think Vegeta can threaten multiple realms in the Macrocosm with Super Saiyan 4? Or shake multiple universe-sized structures at best? What do you think?
Honestly, it's a Dragon Ball kid. I shouldn't even have to go over his fighting speed or reflexes. Dragon Ball characters get faster and stronger through each saga. I mean, there's characters that have energy beams even back in these days where their energy beam can travel all the way from the Earth to the Moon in like a second or two. Characters slightly stronger can do this too. It's like a common thing when it comes to the speed of these energy blasts. Characters with much higher power levels than everybody on this current power level list right here, like Zarbon, Vegeta's arms and limbs can deflect fast blasts like this. His eyes can see them. He's so many times faster than the speed of light, it doesn't even make no sense. Like, he's still deflecting these type of attacks in GT. Characters absurdly weaker than Vegeta can dodge lasers. Matter of fact, Vegeta's blast back in the day, it can basically surpass light speed by a large margin. We see it fly into outer space. We've seen Ki travel universe's length in the Buu Saga, and you telling me this is the kind of stuff Vegeta and them have to react to? Oh, this is back in Dragon Ball Z without even counting his 10-year training and then another 10-year training? Oh, man. I don't even want to bore you guys giving y'all numbers. Just know this stuff is so many times faster than light, it's not even calculable, honestly. I mean, it's feats like this that happened back in the day that should apply for Vegeta when it comes to Pikkon. Goku and Pikkon literally flew all the way down there to hell to see what was going on. Universe away, incalculable type speed. Vegeta 20 years after this should be able to accomplish this, of course, because he's way stronger than Goku at this point. Yeah, just to give you a visual perspective, if each of these are universe-sized structures, if somebody has to fly to heaven all the way to hell, which is another universe-sized structure, you see what I mean? Like, that's incalculable type speed. Like, how do you even measure that? But what do you guys think? Let's just say Dragon Ball Super Goku and Vegeta aren't the only ones that can shake a universes. I do think they could have showed Vegeta a little bit more love in GT though. But what do I know? His energy blast or final shine can still mess up a couple universes in Super Saiyan 4. So I guess that is some kind of love for Vegeta. But hit that like button for me real quick. And thanks for the donations, everybody. Vegeta's strong. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.